So pray for me right now. But how about one more hand for Senator Campbell and Dr. Oliver? I've been in this field a long time, and I've worked all over the country with state legislators. There are few legislators that I have worked with who I can say that I have genuine, deep admiration, borderline affection for. And Senator Campbell and Representative Oliverson are on that very, very short list. You will find no better true conservative voices for what's right, quite frankly, in this state or in this entire country. They are people who have immense integrity, and I was fortunate to get to work on this bill soup to nuts. So a little bit about my background. I oversee child and family policy. That's my area of specialty with the Texas Public Policy Foundation. So I deal with everything affecting parental rights and our foster care system, adoption, child protective services. That's where I've kind of built my career as an attorney. And this became my number one focus for this session. And I was fortunate to be able to work on the drafting of the bill and the strategic conversations that went on about, okay, how do we get this done well? But also, how do we get this done in a way that withstands legal scrutiny? And I think most importantly, how do we get this done in a way that is compassionate, that recognizes that these children and their families are struggling with very real pain, and they're being taken advantage of by a radical organization, a radical left, and radical activist doctors who are pushing, quite frankly, what is snake oil. There is zero evidence to support what these folks are pushing on these kids, and it's awful. But I say that to say, throughout our entire conversation, having Dr. Oliverson and Dr. Campbell there to talk through the science, to bring in that medical perspective, and to remind us that their first duty as doctors is to do no harm, and that anything in this bill has to abide by that principle, was invaluable to making sure that the Texas legislation is going to be the strongest legislation in the country passed on this issue. And I think will be, when it's all said and done and we look at this whole fight that we went through, it will be held up as the example of how to do this and how to do it well. Obviously, we could not have done this without the support of the grassroots, the folks who are calling and making visits and who really elevated this issue. It has been something that's simmered in the background for a number of years. But it was this year that it got to the tipping point. And there's a few reasons for that. But I think one of the main reasons was you all started paying attention and realized, wait, they're doing what? What is this nonsense? What is this evil that's being perpetuated on our children? And you started making noise about it. The other thing that happened was we learned more about what was actually happening. Back when Representative Krause really took the first shot at this last session, we knew next to nothing about the reality of what was going on. And in the ensuing period of time, the amount of research, the systematic evaluations that came out of Europe, basically the house of cards started to crumble. And the timing was perfect for this session because we could go in to every single hearing and we could make this fight about the science and, more importantly, the lack thereof. And we were able to force the left to defend themselves. We were on the offense this entire time because the science was on our side and the strategy was on our side. So sometimes you have to go through a period of losing and not getting it across the finish line, and then God opens up the door and the timing becomes perfect. And that's where we're sitting right now. Now, as Dr. Oliverson said, we are not done yet. We're not ready to spike the football. We still got a fight in front of us.
Yeah, we do.
And we got a fight on the House floor. And so we're going to need your all's help to plow that trail, blaze that trail for us, make that ground fertile for when Dr. Oliverson gets on the floor and starts to fight off unfriendly amendments and take asinine questions from the back mic. We need your all's help keeping our people solid and keeping the votes solid. We got, I think I counted, there's 80 members that are signed on to this thing already. We've got more than enough to pass it. We've got more than enough to pass it. Now it's just a matter of encouraging them, thanking them,
Yes.
and doing whatever we can to help them stay strong because they're going to get attacked. I know people who have voted out the bill are already being attacked behind the scenes. They're having their bills held up in various ways. So there's a lot of members involved who are going to bat for this thing and a great personal sacrifice. So my biggest message for y'all is thank every single member of this legislature who has done anything to move this bill forward because they are all sacrificing for this righteous cause. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Andrew, so very much. Thank you.